Initiating system 1. System 1 loaded.
Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome once again to Iqra Kids TV. As usual, I'm putting on the last touches to our show. And just to remind you, Iqra means to learn, to read, to understand. Kids are you guys, we hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And TV, which stands for television, just in case you didn't know that, is what you should be watching right now. Right guys, it's been mighty busy around here. We've been doing so much amazing work that we really hope you guys enjoy it. The only way to find that out is to play it right now. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Initiating system 1. System 1 loaded.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, my friends, and welcome once again to the Random Art Studio, where we are going to indulge in a little bit of art. Oh, it might be interesting. So make sure you stick around to the very end, okay? As usual, I have my spinner, so let's get that on the screen now, shall we? Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and there it is. There's our spinner. Our spinner has a number of interesting items on there, and I'm gonna go through some of them there. We've got spider, clown, human hand, tractor, Mr. Potato Head, a fairy, soft clouds, a dove, a panther, Hulk, Khaleel's choice, a Wookiee, I love Wookiees, Islamic art, and on and on and on, okay? I tried to change it and add things, take things out every now and then to make it more juicy, right? So whatever I spin it on, whatever it stops on, we're gonna draw that. I nearly said try to draw it, but we're not gonna try anything. It's, as Yoda says, it's do or not do. There is no try, okay? We're just gonna do it. Right, let's hit that spinner button. Let's see what we come out with. It's gonna be juicy no matter what it stops at. Islamic art. That could mean anything. Of course, there's a lot of calligraphy. It could be architecture. It could be some kind of mathematical symbols that they use for the architecture, I suppose. That's going to be quite interesting. But whatever we do, we're going to make the best of it. So let me just quickly find something and show it to you now. Right, so I found a lovely picture online, and I did initially find a lot of Islamic geometrical patterns and things like that. But I thought, it's nice. But we don't have a compass, we don't have rulers, because we're gonna have to make it really accurate and get the lines in and measuring things. And this is not a technical drawing tutorial, okay? This is about having fun and finding cool pictures. So I searched again, I put in Islamic art kids, and this is what came up. Okay, this boy and the girl here as well, that came up. I thought it was quite nice. And you can see I've already put on there, let me get my pencil. I've already put on there that pink line, and I'm using the grid system. Oh, you should know what the grid system is by now. So I don't need to go into too much detail, but the grid system just allows you to use those squares to figure out where things go. It helps with proportion and length of things and where they are in relation to one another, right? So if you look at my drawing pad here, here we go, I've already drawn it out. The only difference is it's a bit bigger than the one we've got on our reference picture, okay, the original picture we're copying. It's bigger because that's the beauty of the grid system. Once you've got those grid systems in place and you want to make the picture you're copying bigger, you just do the same grid system, the same proportions, but bigger, and then you use that as reference. Right, let's go to the basics now. Let's go to the basics of what we're going to do. Let's look at that head of the little boy. Might as well start on the left hand side. And the little boy's head is kind of in the middle here, like this. Doesn't touch that line in the center. Something like that. It almost touches the bottom line. And then his shoulder, his head, as you normally have with kids' pictures, the head is always bigger than the rest of the body. That's what kids do have. They don't do it, that's what they have, okay? Their proportions are always out. So I'm just doing the basic shape of the boy for now, okay? Just to get the positioning correct, like this. Okay, just a rough outline, and I'm going to do exactly the same for the little girl. She's slightly shorter than him, so she's about here somewhere, I'd say. And her hijab does touch that line. So I'm going to have it touch the line. It goes down to that bottom line and goes something like that. Okie dokie, I'm seeing that one. And like the little boy, her legs, her arms and shoulders are a little bit smaller than her head, okay? Those are the proportions of kids, okay? Also, where their legs are, it's not at the bottom line, it's a little bit further up. And I think that's close enough for now, okay? Now, as you begin to look at it more and more, as I always say, you will realize, oh, some things are not quite right. But don't worry about that for now. We're just gonna put in those basic shapes. For now, you can see where her arms are folding, yeah, like this. Can you see that? Let me just turn it so you can see it a little bit more. Okay. And then her belly and her abaya goes out. Her hijab goes like this, over her arm, something like this. Now, I have to press quite hard on my piece of paper so that you guys can see it at home. But at home, when you're doing things like this, when you started your drawing, make sure you go nice and light with your pencil. Don't press too hard. And if you're using a dark pencil, don't press hard on that as well. Okay. Now I'm beginning to put in a bit more detail with her head. And as I'm doing that, I'm realizing her face needs to stick out a little bit like this. Like that. And the hijab goes right around her head here. Somewhat like that. Okay, can you see where we're going with that? I can, I hope you can too. And I'm gonna leave that there for now. I'll maybe just put a few lines in for her sleeve and a line for the hem of her abaya. Now her foot here is been blocked by some flowers or some grass or some weeds or something. So I'm not gonna worry about that. She's got a foot here that goes, I think it's some kind of sandals or something she's wearing. That goes back underneath her abaya there. Boom. And it's got a few lines here. I'm not going to worry about those. Let's do the same thing for the little boy. Let's do that line of his hat. Okay, his head seems to be slight. Obviously, they're both kind of looking slightly up a little bit. Like that. Okay. And his ears are ear. Circle his here. Then I'm going to put that hat of his kind of goes back a little bit like this. He's got a little tuffet of hair sticking out. We'll worry about that in a second. And his hair goes right back. Can you see that? Nice one, Khaleel bhai. Alrighty. And then his face, he's got some big cheeks. And then his chin goes down. Now, as I'm doing it, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, there's so many lines here. But that's always going to be the case. And no matter what we're drawing here on the Random Art Studio, you're always going to start with a lot of lines. And it's just a practice that we have to go through to discern what line we want to keep and what line we don't want to keep. That's all there is to it. Okay? Right, let me just go do his neck. And the cuff of his shirt, the collar of his shirt. His arm goes kind of here. He's folding his arm. They're both folding their arms like that. They're both going, right? So let's just put his arm out like this, something like that. He's got his left hand over his right. And his shoulder goes under, not his shoulder, his elbow is here. Now he's got a short top on. He's not wearing obviously a long thobe or anything. So I'm going to put the line where the end of his clothes goes, his top, something like that. And then there's a slight part there. There's some pockets here and a pocket underneath his elbow. Now he's got some chubby legs. Actually, his legs look quite chubby. Okay. I don't know what to say about that. But hey, it takes all kinds to make a world, okay? We love everybody, no matter what size and shape they are, okay? People who are chubby are always happy, and that's a good thing. I wish I was always happy, I tell you that. I'd pay money to have that state of mind. Right, his foot is obscured by that flower, that plant thing, like the girls one is. So we're just gonna draw what we can see. Okay, leave that one out. This one is not being obscured. There's a planted pot somewhere there, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Let's put his foot there. Like this, his foot is there. And he's got those kind of Converses on, so it's got that white tip. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay, his shoulder could be a little bit rounder, I think. And his arm goes, his cuff of his sleeve goes back up here. And you can just see his two fingers sticking out there. Can you see those two fingers there? There. And his other arm goes over here. Now, one of the hardest things I ever found to draw is somebody folding their arms. It can be difficult because you have to try and make it look convincing. You know, you're trying to do it like this. You're trying to make it look, or sometimes it looks all tied up. So drawing it is kind of tough. So you might have to practice a little bit with that one to get it to look natural. That's the point I'm trying to say. You try to make it look natural. Otherwise it looks like his hands are just tied in knots. And people's hands are not tied in knots, mate, right? So it's just a matter of practicing it, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We're practicing it, okay? All right, so let me see. Okay, the collar of his thing, he's got that Nero type of collar. And another line for his arm there. Yeah, I don't think he's chubby, I think he's muscular. I think he's muscular, he's got some muscles. Okay, he's been working out in the gym apparently. That's the only explanation that comes to my mind anyway. All right, so let's put his face in. He's got that hair I mentioned before. So the hair is about here. You see when I'm doing the hair, I'm not doing all the fine detail. I'm just doing the basic shape of where the hair goes. Then when I'm figuring out that it's okay, then I can start putting the other little lines in. Like this. Yeah. And then I can start figuring out where his eyes go, okay? Just draw circles for now for where you think his eyes should go. And another circle thing for his nose. And his mouth is smirking. He's smirking kind of like this, and his bottom lip is here. And then there's da-da-da-da. Okay, his hair is not quite right. Okay, ears are another hard thing to draw because the inside of the ear got all those lines and curves and stuff, and it can look quite confusing if you don't get it right. And often I don't get it right, and it looks very confusing. Okay, right, I'm beginning to, now that I'm happy with the position of the eye and the shape of the eye, because it's not totally round, I'm going to put in his pupils like this, and his eyebrows here. You know, some of the other pictures I did, remember when I did SpongeBob a while ago, I realized that I didn't do one of his eyebrows. I was looking at it the other day thinking, oh, Khaleel, where's his eyebrow, man? What's going on? But never mind. I don't know if you guys noticed, nobody said anything, so I think I got away with it. Right, so let's look at that. Let's have a look at that. Oh, nice one. Okay, nice one. I'm gonna put a bit more detail on the girl's face now. Okay, and don't worry, we're gonna start going over this with the black ink later on, and we're gonna do some coloring. Okay, all right, let's put the little girl's face in.
Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying watching Iqra Kids TV. Remember, if you want to send in any of your artwork, or if you want to join Brother Khaleel on the Random Art Studio, all you need to do is send us an email on this email address, info@iqra.tv. info@iqra.tv. Send your stuff in and give us an email. We'd love to hear from you. See you soon. Bye.
If you find that you're in this position where you've done a lot of sketching and you're kind of happy with the overall look of it, but some of these lines are getting a bit confusing and you want to make sure that you know which line you're going to follow, get a rubber, okay, and rub out those lines that you think are confusing you, okay? I'm not too fussed, okay? I think I pretty much know what I'm going to follow in terms of these lines. But as I said, if you feel that some of the lines aren't quite right, okay, and you're about to color it in with a marker, then rub up the lines that you don't need. Again, guys, I'm using a bit of tissue here. I'm using a bit of tissue to wipe away the excess bits of eraser rubber that accumulates on the page. See, can you see all that there? Of course, as I'm rubbing it off, this happens every time. Don't use the back of your hand, use a tissue to rub away. And as I said before, we use the grid system to position all of the characters in their right place. Now, of course, this picture, you could say is quite complicated. So you might want to add more lines on your grid if you think you need to increase the proportions and figure out where things are. You could have put, let me just get, I don't know what to use. Let me use this for now. Let's look at our drawing surface. Right, you could put another line here. Drawing, I'm just using these as representing the pencil lines. You could put lines there and lines there to increase the grid system, and obviously those have to be on your original as well. Okay, so if you file that, you've got you've only did 4 shapes. You could put more. You could put a line here, a line here, a line here. The more grid you have on it, the more accurate your picture will be, because therefore you'll be able to position things a lot better. All right. Right, now this is the scary bit, the bit where we're gonna whip out the Sharpie and start going over it. Now again, you know, once we've gone over it, any mistakes we're gonna make, they're gonna be permanent. That's why they call it a Sharpie, because they don't come off. Once you put it on a piece of paper or something, it's there forever, right? So we're gonna go nice and slow. Let's just start with the little boy's hair. Right, so we've just gone over the little boy with the marker. Okay, I used a Sharpie. Now, Sharpies aren't ideally made for this kind of job, I admit it. But in order to demonstrate clearly on the camera, this marker, the Sharpie is quite perfect actually, because you can see it very clearly. The reason why it's not made for this kind of activity is because as I'm using it, not only is it going right through the paper, but it is bleeding into the paper, and it is, as the ink hits the paper, it spreads out a little bit, and it gives you a false impression that you're drawing one line and the line is thicker than you want it to be. So ideally, we should get some kind of drawing board, like a CS10 card or something like that, some Dahler, Winsor and Dahler kind of card to do that on, so it doesn't bleed, so the lines stay where they are. But for our purposes today, I think it's all right. It's okie dokie to have that, right? There was a few things I had a problem with. I forgot to put his ear over ear, and I also forgot to put his arm, is it his arm or his belly, or whatever it is. Let's come look at our board, please. Let's look at our drawing board, please. Right, yeah, we need to put this arm in here. I know you like put me on the camera, guys, but let's look at the artwork, it's more important, right? So yeah, this line here, I forgot to put that line in there. Well, no problem, but as I was going through it, I thought, let me just put it in now. Oh, look, I forgot something. Can you notice? Have I forgot something? I have. I forgot his shoe. This other shoe here. So let me just put that in right now before I forget completely. Talking so much, that's a problem. You kind of forget things. You have to keep your mind focused on the task at hand, right? I've got some shavings on my phone there where I got my picture. Right, so I think that's it. Let's not speak too soon. Let's have a quick look. I've put his eyebrows in. Okay, we're not going to do another SpongeBob mistake and leave his eyebrows out. Okay, again, this part of the operation, as I said, is quite scary because you have to try and have your hand as steady as possible. And you know, if you need to turn the paper like this to get those angles where your hand will naturally flow in that direction, don't be afraid to turn the page around like this, okay? Sometimes you even see that I do it sometimes if I need to, because drawing curvy pictures like this, it's going to be very awkward. So you might have to turn it around to get some of these lines. See, it just naturally flows in that arc shape there as well. So I might have to do that with the little girl's hijab because it's very round. I mean, his head is round as well, but her hijab is one continuous line. With the little boy, I could stop here and I could take a breather. Her thing is one continuous line. And because I'm using a Sharpie, any mistakes, you're going to see it clear as day, right? Having said that, I'm going to start on the easiest part of the little girl, just in case I do make mistakes. It won't be too obvious, right? So let's start with her shoulder, then we'll go from there. Right, and we're coming back to this one now. So you can see for the little girl's hijab, I had to turn the page around. And even then, this point here, you probably can't see it as clearly, but you can see where I joined the two lines. But it's almost pointless. You can't even really see because I see it because I know it. Right, so what we're going to do now, we've done everything. Have we? Let's go. Right, eyebrows. I'm really paranoid about the eyebrows now. Actually, the line under her eye could be included like that. And I've done her nose and the rest of the stuff that needs to go in is to do with color. Right. So let's just, now what I'm going to do, again, I'm just going to grab the rubber and I'm just going to rub it over. I'm not pressing too hard, okay? I'm just going to slap the table. I'm going to slap the drawing like this. And that way we're not going to ruin the surface of the paper that we're using. This is cartridge paper. But I'm realizing that it's either the cartridge paper is not very good quality or the rubber is not good quality, but it's beginning to shred the paper, okay? And it's making it look dirty, especially when it goes over the black lines of the Sharpie. It's dragging it a little bit and it's blurring it a little bit. So I don't want to press too hard. So I'm just going to just do it very lightly like this, okay? Remember, see, we're getting all those bits of rubber, excess rubber. We're not gonna have time to do the girl, we're just gonna do the little boy for now. So all that excess rubber, I'm just gonna use the tissue to just rub over it as well. Try to resist the urge of using your hands, okay? And just rub it like this, okay? We'll leave the girl for now, because I'm gonna do a bit of coloring in with the little boy. Okay, the boy. Right, now, of course, the colors on the little boy are just flat color. Flat blue, flat orange for his trousers, and just a straightforward black for his trainers. Now, of course, you could just copy that exactly as you see it. Get a bit of orange or whatever I've got here, a bit of blue for his top, and just, you know, color it flat. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to my coloring pencils. I'm not going to use the felt tip pens or the markers for that. I'm going to go to my coloring pencils and I'm going to use that. Now let's look at the drawing surface, please. I don't know what to do with myself once the show is over. I'm like this sometimes. But I know I've got lots to get on with. And I want to hear from you guys as well. What do you think of our shows so far? You must have some thoughts, some ideas, some clues as to how we can make our show even better. If you do have some ideas, that is the email address. And if you want to go to our website, there's the website address. And of course, I keep reminding you guys about our Instagram page. If you've not been over there yet, you need to go over there right now. Do it now. Whip your phone out right now. Okay, go to this address, Iqra Kids TV, okay? And make sure you follow us, drop a comment, and etc., etc. You know all the media stuff that you have to do. Go over there, check out our work, inshallah. Right, guys, once again, thanks for joining us. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Reason number 7, it was a massive up.
Tales of wonder.
Right? Different things you do.
Iqra Kids TV.